Who the hell is that guy? Will we see a better Samson this year than last year?
What was different for you, and what can we expect from you coming tomorrow night?
Nick Walker will be Mr. Olympia Saturday night.
You actually put the title up for grabs and said, I'm happy to do it. A lot of people thought that was a mistake. A lot of people thought maybe you made the wrong move.
You're going to see the best Martin you've ever seen.
Are you projecting to be in the top 5?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. At this year's Mr. Olympia 2025 press conference, the atmosphere was electric. For the first time in years, 4 Olympia champions sat together on one stage: Samson Dauda, Derek Lunsford, Hadi Choopan, and Brandon Curry. The host Bob Cicherillo and a panel of bodybuilding legends including Tarek El Guindi, Lenda Murray, Fuad, and Dennis James asked the questions everyone wanted to hear. Bob started with the reigning champion Samson Dauda.
Defending champion in Samson Dauda. Samson, you actually put the title up for grabs and said, I'm happy to do it.
Hell, I've always said, what, I march to the beat of my own drum, and I like to do things my way.
He looked at Samson and asked how it felt to be the champ all year long, especially since Samson wasn't just sitting back but actually competing and defending his title. Samson smiled and said that he has always done things his own way. He explained that bodybuilding has completely changed his life and now he feels it's his duty to give something back to the sport. He said that even if that means putting his title on the line again and again, he's ready for it. His words carried the calm confidence of a true champion, a man who loves the fight as much as the victory. Bob then reminded Samson that earlier this year, he lost to Derek Lunsford at the Arnold Classic. He asked whether that defeat took away some of his confidence or if it made him even hungrier. Samson answered with a confident grin. He said that getting knocked down doesn't weaken him, it lights the fire even stronger. He said, when you lose, that's when you realize how hungry you really are. The crowd loved his attitude. It was clear that Samson wasn't broken by the loss, he was fueled by it. Bob then teased Samson, reminding him that last year, he was bold enough to take off his shirt on stage during the press conference and challenge everyone to beat him. Samson laughed it off, but it showed again how fearless and competitive he is. Then Bob turned to Derek Lunsford.
Derek Lunsford, you also not shy about putting that title up for grabs. And you said, I'll see you at the Arnold, and we'll see what happens right over there. A lot of people thought that was a mistake. A lot of people thought maybe you made the wrong move, but I don't know, $500,000 later in a title, and you beat the champ, kind of put a little feather in your cap. Seemed like maybe it was the right move.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I didn't present the physique that I wanted to at 100% at last year's Olympia. And so I wanted to go right back to work, man. And I wanted to show up, against the reigning champion.
He asked Derek why he decided to compete so early at the Arnold instead of waiting for Olympia. Bob mentioned that many people thought it was a bad move, that competing twice a year might hurt his physique. Derek responded with calm determination. He said that he wasn't happy with the shape he brought to last year's Olympia and wanted to prove that his best version is the best in the world. That's why he went straight back to work. He also said he wanted to win the Arnold and the Pittsburgh Pro to make history, winning the 3 biggest shows in a single year. Derek said he didn't regret his decision at all. Bob then mentioned how some past legends like Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman used to say that competing too early in the year sometimes cost them the Olympia title later. Derek smiled and said, if they believe in you, then you can shock the world. So let's do this. His words showed a quiet confidence. He's not scared of pressure, he feeds on it. Bob then asked him if he believed he could shock the world again by beating Samson and winning another Olympia title. Derek didn't hesitate. That's what I'm here to do, he said. This is where history is made, and I'm here to make history. After that, the mic went to Hadi Choopan.
We've seen the footage. We've seen the video of him going back as the champ and as not the champion. They seem to celebrate just as much when he didn't win the title and coming to greet the champion.
Bob thanked him and told him how much the fans from Iran loved him. He said that everywhere he goes, Iranian fans tell him to say Hadi's name out loud. The whole audience cheered when Bob said Hadi Choopan. Hadi thanked his fans, smiled, and said he brought his best version this year. He added, I think I'll be the last one to leave the stage. It was short but strong, typical Hadi. Bob talked about how Hadi is treated like a national hero in Iran, that even when he didn't win the Olympia title last year, thousands still came out in a parade to welcome him home. Hadi humbly said that Iran is a young and passionate country full of bodybuilding fans and athletes, and he hopes politics will stay out of the sport so more Iranians can compete internationally. It was a proud and emotional moment. You could feel how much this sport means to him. Then Bob turned his attention to Brandon Curry.
Can you take on these young cats? Can you still get one more title in there?
You know what? I believe that, yeah, that's the case. I still have all the tools.
that made me a champion.
He said Brandon has been competing for 13 years longer than most of the current generation and asked him how it feels to still be in the mix after more than a decade. Brandon replied with a calm and confident tone. He said his body is still responding well, he feels good, and that this prep has been one of his best. He admitted that last year he didn't peak properly, so he changed his approach, started working with Justin Harris in the USA, and brought a much better version to the Arnold Classic. He said that if he can improve even more for the Olympia, the judges will have a tough time deciding. His goal, he said, is to make it a real competition, not just show up. Bob asked him how much gas he still has in the tank considering he's been at it for so long. Brandon smiled and said, "It's looking good. I've still got all the tools that made me a champion." He added that consistency is what he's been focusing on and that he's here to enjoy the stage with his fellow champions, but also to remind everyone he's not done yet.
We've seen your pictures, we've seen your video. You got a lot of accolades out there from just, 3-4 weeks ago. You did a guest posing, and the consensus out there was it's the best Samson that we've seen at 4 weeks out. Would you agree with that? Is that the best condition that you've had in the off-season leading into this? Will we see a better Samson this year than last year?
So we got supposed 6 weeks out, and for me, basically, the judges already given my feedback what they want to see from me. The job is very simple.
Bob then brought the focus back to Samson and mentioned how good he's looked in recent photos and guest posings. He asked if this is the best version of Samson we've ever seen. Samson replied that the judges had already given him feedback. They wanted him to bring sharper conditioning, to suffer a bit more, and that's exactly what he's done this time. He said the goal for this prep was simple: bring the best conditioning ever. When asked what Derek could possibly do to beat him, Samson laughed and said there's nothing he can do, he's done. The crowd erupted with cheers and laughter. Bob turned to Derek again, joking that there's no defense in bodybuilding, and asked what he thought about Samson's bold words. Derek smiled confidently and said, "We can talk all day, but I'm here to shock the world. Tomorrow night at prejudging, I'll bring my best. I promise." That moment felt like the calm before the storm, both men showing ultimate respect, but also total belief in themselves. Then bodybuilding legend Glenda Murray took the mic.
And when you placed second to Derek, at that moment, did you really even think about the money?
She said that in her time, bodybuilding was about love for the sport, not money. She reminded Samson that he's the reigning Mr. Olympia and asked whether, when he lost at the Arnold, the money even mattered at that moment, or was it purely about pride and competition? Samson replied with honesty. He said that for him, it's always about pride and respect. He believes anyone can beat anyone on any given night, and at the Arnold, when he didn't get the call, it hurt, but he took it as a lesson. He said the true measure of a man is not what he does when he's winning, but how he responds when he's knocked down. His answer earned a lot of applause. It showed real humility and character. Then Dennis James, one of the most respected veterans in bodybuilding, took the mic. He joked that the room was so cold he almost forgot his question, then turned to Hadi.
You watched Derek beat Samson at the Arnold, and then you saw Derek fight in a battle with Nick 2 weeks later at the Pittsburgh Pro. Now, what does a Hadi think, or what's going on in your mind seeing that the reigning champion got beat by the guy that you beat last year? What was different for you, and what can we expect from you coming tomorrow night?
He asked Hadi what he thought after watching Derek beat Samson at the Arnold and then battle Nick Walker 2 weeks later at the Pittsburgh Pro. He wanted to know what was going through Hadi's mind after seeing the reigning champ lose. Hadi answered calmly, saying that every year he expects a lot from himself, and that's why for 8 years straight he's always brought his best version. He said he respects all the champions on stage, but this year he's bringing his best condition ever, better than any version before. He ended by saying, "I don't talk, I'll show it on stage." The crowd went wild. That's vintage Hadi, no talk, only action. Bob wrapped up the discussion with appreciation for all 4 champions. The energy on that stage was unmatched. 4 men, 4 champions, each confident in his own journey. Samson looked focused and proud. Derek looked sharp and ready to make history. Hadi was silent but deadly, and Brandon was calm and wise, reminding everyone that experience is still a weapon. The press conference wasn't just about words, it was a preview of the storm waiting to hit the Olympia stage. After the top 4 Mr. Olympia champions left the stage, the energy in the room was still electric. The audience knew that the next lineup was going to bring fireworks, the new generation of athletes who had something to prove. The crowd started cheering louder as Nick Walker made his entrance, followed by Martin Fitzwater, Andrew Jack, Behrooz Tabani, and Urs Kalecinski. As Nick Walker walked to the front, Bob shook hands with Nick Walker, and right then Fuad Abiad, sitting among the media, Fuad said jokingly, "Hey Nick, how does it feel to shake hands with the man who said you were going to be 7th OE8?
How does it feel to shake the hand of a man who said you were going to be 7th?
8th.
8th? Oh, that's even worse.
Let's just make sure we got the right information here.
What do I think? Who the hell is that guy?
Nick squinted playfully and replied, "What do I think? Who the hell is that guy?" The audience burst into laughter. It was classic Nick Walker humor, raw and confident.
Let me tell you who I am, Nick. This is how that whole thing started to begin with. But one of the things that's come up, Nick.
I announced the winner.
Bob said, "Well, let me tell you who I am." Nick said confidently, "I announced the winner Saturday night." That's how this whole thing started. The banter went back and forth for a few moments, both men joking about predictions and rivalry. The hall was filled with laughter. Bob said, "Nick, one of the things people were saying this year was that maybe I shouldn't be giving my opinion since I'm the guy who announces the winner." He then smiled and asked, "Tell me honestly, is there anybody you'd rather have announce your name as the winner other than me?" Nick smiled big and replied with complete sincerity, "No, Bob. I'd choose you every single time. You say it too good, too professional. It wouldn't sound right if anyone else did it. I need that charisma when my name gets announced Saturday night." The crowd went crazy at that point, cheering and clapping as Bob laughed and said, "Well, charisma it will be, my friend." Bob congratulated Nick for making his comeback to the Olympia stage after 2 long years away. He told the audience how much better this year's lineup was with Nick back in it and how the fans had missed his energy. Nick nodded, smiling confidently. Bob mentioned their online teasing throughout the year and said, "You were probably the one who took it least seriously. You were laughing the whole time, and I'm still waiting for my Who the F is Bob t-shirt." Nick laughed and said, "I never take things personal, it's all fun and games." The crowd loved it. Then Bob shifted gears and got serious again. "All jokes aside, Nick," he said, "you're back with the best lineup in years. You've beaten some of these guys before, but they've all improved. What are your chances this time?"
What are your chances this year, Nick? We saw maybe the best Nick that we've seen emerging this year in the pictures and the videos that you've been putting out. You're all over Instagram. You've got a huge fan base. What can we expect from you? I know you're here to try to win, but can you beat these guys?
I've already beat all these guys, and I expect to do it again Saturday night.
Nick leaned into the mic, looked straight ahead, and said with complete confidence, "I've already beaten all these guys, and I expect to do it again Saturday night." The audience erupted in cheers. It was bold, but that's exactly what everyone expected from Nick Walker. No hesitation, no fear, just pure belief in himself. Bob laughed and said, "That's fair." He then turned toward the man sitting next to Nick, Martin Fitzwater. He reminded everyone of their famous battle at the New York Pro and said that it was such a close contest that many fans still argue who should have won. Bob asked Martin how it felt to be sitting next to Nick again after all that talk.
What makes him think he can beat me at my best? But can he beat you at your best?
Look, my mama said if you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. But I'll tell you right now, you're going to see the best Martin you've ever seen.
Martin smiled calmly and said, "My mama always said if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all." The crowd laughed. Then he added seriously, "But I'll tell you right now, you're going to see the best Martin you've ever seen. And if things go as planned, I can beat anyone." Bob mentioned that a lot of people thought if Martin had brought his best version earlier this year in Pittsburgh, he could have beaten Nick and even Derek Lunsford. He asked what had changed since then. Martin said everything since that day had been planned to perfection. "The moment I stepped off that stage in Pittsburgh," he said, "everything became calculated to the T." A confident Martin is dangerous, but a pissed off Martin with a chip on his shoulder is really dangerous. His tone was serious and focused.
Bonnie, first of all of us are very happy you're here. Realistically speaking, all the tension is gone. Are you projecting to be in the top 5 fighting against guys like Hadi, Derek, Samson?
Turned to Behrouz Tabani, one of the most emotional stories of the night. He said, "First of all of us are very happy you're here. You've had such a tough road getting here." Bob reminded everyone that Behrouz had qualified for the Olympia 3 years in a row but couldn't compete due to visa issues. He said, "Imagine preparing for the biggest show in the world year after year and then being told a week before the show that you can't go. That's heartbreaking." When Behrouz got the mic, his voice was full of emotion. "Hello everyone," he began. "Today is the best day of my life. I worked for this dream for 20 years. I waited 3 years to get a visa. God gave me the honor to compete with the best in the world. Now I am here to do it." The audience applauded loudly. You could feel the emotion in every word. He said he was happy, motivated, and ready to show his best. His translator added that tomorrow, fans would see a version of Behrouz that they've never seen before.
All the upcoming younger guys in the classic, that there is a possibility also to grow yourself into the open division. And
then Dennis James jumped in with a smile and turned to Urs Kalecinski, the miracle bear. He joked, "Last year you were sitting on a little stool at this same press conference, and this year you're on a full-size chair filling up the whole thing." The crowd laughed and Urs grinned. Dennis said he remembered how, when Urs first announced he was moving up from classic physique to the open class, people doubted him. They said he wasn't big enough. But now, after winning his first 2 open shows in Italy, Urs had proven everyone wrong. Dennis asked him how it felt now to be sitting next to guys like Nick, Samson, and Derek, men he used to look up to. Urs replied with excitement in his voice. "Honestly," he said, "I feel like I finally belong here. Making weight in classic was hell for me. Now I feel free. Sitting next to these guys, the ones I've admired for years, it's unbelievable. It makes me even more excited. I love bodybuilding." His passion was contagious, and the audience applauded loudly again.
Fan and everybody else on this, I see you eyeing that Sandow right there. It looks nice, doesn't it?
Beautiful.
Be a little bit better on your mantle, wouldn't it?
Right above my TV in my room, you know?
Bob turned back to Nick Walker, pointed toward the Mr. Olympia Sandow trophy on the table, and said, "Nick, I see you eyeing that Sandow. Looks nice, doesn't it?" Nick laughed and said, "Beautiful. It'll look even better on my shelf right above my TV." The crowd exploded with laughter and cheers.
Will I be announcing you in first, top 5, or top 8?
Nick Walker will be Mr. Olympia Saturday night.
Bob grinned and asked, "All right then, Nick, where will I be announcing you on Saturday night? First place, top 5, top 8? Nick looked straight ahead, smiled confidently, and said Nick Walker will be Mr. Olympia Saturday night. The crowd went wild, shouting, cheering, chanting his name. It was the perfect ending to the press conference. That's how the press conference ended, full of energy, laughter, and fire. Nick's confidence, Martin's hunger, Behrouz's emotion, and Urs's passion reminded everyone why we love this sport. Each of them walked off the stage with one goal: to prove they belong among the best in the world. Now the big question is, who do you think will take the Sandow this year? Will Samson defend his crown? Can Derek shock the world again? Will Hadi make his comeback, or is it finally Nick Walker's time? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for every Mr. Olympia 2025 update, physique reveal, and backstage moment coming your way.